Boom! Welcome back to a brand new season of the Sloppy Horror Podcast. That's right. Is it the Como Te Llamo? I don't even know what we decided. Is that what we're going with, Como Te Llamo?
You didn't pick yet?
No, because there was too many good choices.
How did you not fucking pick yet?
I don't know.
How are we supposed? I don't even know what the hell we're doing now.
Well, it's the what's your name? You know, it's the name season. Here's the deal. It came down to two finalists. Hello, my name is, or Como Te Llamas.
Yeah, all right, we're gonna do Hello, my name is because we keep fucking up Como Te Llamas.
Okay, so let's do Hello, my name is.
Hi, my name is.
I like that.
Hi. My name is. Tell us what my name is today.
Your name today. Well, you got two names actually. Your name's Freddy versus Jason.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yep.
What a banger. What a banger to start off. Hi, my name is. This is fantastic. This is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I love this movie.
I do, too. It's really hard to kind of put down in words how much I do love this film, how much it's affected me. I mean, obviously, we'll jump into all that, but I have more information on this film than most. I was a very nerdy child, okay? And this is one of those movies right at the birth of DVDs. This had one of the coolest DVD setups ever. Like this is goated. This is like top 10 for me DVDs ever. That was a cool thing back in those days to get the double feature, to be able to get a double disc and be like, holy shit. There's bonus footage, outtakes, little featurettes. There's commentaries. I was all over that, man, because you if you didn't have cable in your room, any kind of entertainment was awesome. But like when you were used to tapes and you get all right, here are the previews, here's the movie, here's the credits. That's what that is. But when you're like, man, I've got like an extra 2 hours of content on this thing. Very cool to a young me. So we're going to jump into all this, obviously. And as you guys know, I don't know if I mentioned, I'm your host and scary movie companion, Christian Ramey. And across the street over there, that's the best producer in the whole wide world, Mr. Ozark Mark, all right? Hello, everyone. We're here to guide you through this. And by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe. Even if you're not, you're an audio listener, go over there, subscribe. You know why? Because it's completely for free to do, and it helps us out more than you know. Because this is the only horror podcast in the whole entire world you will find with zero advertisements plugging it day after day. That's not what we're doing. If it's not horror, get the fuck out of here. But we need your help. So open up Apple Podcasts, Spotify, give 5 stars. Do it, please. It would mean the world. Now, aside from all that, Mark, Freddy versus Jason.
Freddy versus Jason.
Let's look at this on paper, dude. We've got these two. They're kissing on screen. We finally get a movie where these guys fuck on screen with eye contact. No, that would be intense.
I'm sure there's a movie like that somewhere that we don't know about.
Oh, yeah.
I almost downloaded the wrong one.
Yeah. Freddy's in Jason. Wait, hold on.
Freddy's in Jason. Oh, no.
Son, what are you watching? No, get out. No. Hey.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
So
how much would it take for you to take care of yourself to Freddy's and Jason?
I don't know if I could take care of myself, but I would watch it with great joy.
No way, no.
Great joy, because it'd be hilarious.
Come on, I was like, you have to finish yourself, but you can do that soft. I mean, it's possible.
Okay.
You can get to the end. You can get the splooge without proper blood flow.
All
but
right.
I'm saying, if somebody paid you, you gotta watch Freddy's and Jason, and you gotta splooge. How much would you do that for?
We'll say 100 large, 100,000.
100,000.
Yeah, it's a fair number.
Dude, I'll do it for $5,000.
Yeah,
Realistically.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hey man, I'll pay you $5,000.
That's a good point.
All you gotta do is splooge while this movie's on. Okay.
Okay. All
Cool.
All right.
Doesn't matter. You're a dude.
I'd be laughing
if you tug
tremendously too.
you gotta just tug on it long enough, something will happen. You know what I mean? You're not like a woman. You don't gotta focus. You just fucking do a bunch of friction and
I just imagined a scene where Jason turns the corner and he has a mask with a hole in it. Fucking burnt hot dog going in it.
Now well, that's just burned into everybody's mind. Let's continue with something else, please.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. Now, when you have whenever there's two characters meeting in a movie, it usually signifies one thing. It's over for these two characters. It's goodbye. Frankenstein meets Abbott and Costello. Like, there's just this setup. Even the Kong versus Godzilla. Like, even though they'll have more of those movies, and like maybe some movies here and there, like the rise of both of these characters kind of reaches their pinnacle once they fight each other. Because you can't really ever give a clear winner. Like, they never do that, like in any of these movies. Even though Freddy technically won this movie, if you want to be sincere.
Did he?
More punches, more stabs, more blows. He manipulated the whole situation, right? Jason got out of line, and then he fucking tore this fucker apart, stood above him. I mean, it was a brutal battle. Jason got some licks in too, but he cut off his fingers, and then Freddy stood above him and stabbed him in the face, like right in the mask. I felt like that was the, and Jason didn't cut his head off. He got psyched out. Freddy turned around and it was the girl. She was there.
Yeah. I've been lusting after her for years.
Tits McGee?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep. It's distracting.
It's
distracting.
Dude, it's been distracting ever since.
Yeah.
I haven't watched this movie in a long time, and I saw it again. I was like, oh, I remember you.
Yeah.
I remember you. She's top 5. She's in the top 5 for sure.
Oh, yeah. She's great.
Oh, my God.
She's great. But Ronnie Yu, the director, if you listen to the commentary, he made that a feature on purpose. All right? I'm not saying, it is what it is. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, there are scenes in this movie where you're like, hot damn. Hot damn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm supposed to be paying attention.
Yeah. Especially in the rain scenes.
Oh, I know.
Goodness God.
And then we get Catherine. What about Catherine Isabel from Ginger Snaps? She's in this.
Yeah, she is.
What a great casting. Or what a great cast in this film. You have, what's his face? From Scary Movie. Oh, I always forget this guy's name. He's got such a stage name, too. Lachlan Monroe. I love that guy. The guy from Scary Movie, the dude in the shower, he's like, so what? They turn the cold water on. He's the cop in this.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I love this guy. He's also Night at the Roxbury as well.
Yeah.
He's a great character. I love that guy in movies.
Yeah. Never misses.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Now, let's talk about the drama. The drama.
There's drama.
Shut up, cat. Even my cats feel it. They know what's going on. We have to talk about Kane Hodder. You and I reviewed a little film last season called Jason Goes to Hell. It was about Jason, and he went to hell.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Was fighting. Was very dramatic, very funny. But at the end of that film, there's Jason's mask, and Freddy's glove reaches up out of there and pulls it down. Now, this is early 90s when that film came out.
Mm-hmm.
We are now in 2003, August of 2003. So I will tell you that there were dozens and dozens of scripts. I have found people that are kind of, I don't know, they don't enjoy this film as much, and that's okay. I mean, it's different strokes, different folks. But I would urge, if you look at it through this lens, as I mentioned earlier, it signifies the end of it. All right, you got to look at where these franchises were. I mean, Jason was going to hell. I mean, he was doing all kind of shit. He went to fucking space. Like, there was all kinds of stuff. Nightmare on Elm Street. Wes Craven's New Nightmare was cool, but like Part 6, it was over. It was over. These guys were done for, but it was a nice way to kind of send them off. And even though there had been films since with them in it, it was like, it's kind of hard to describe what they were to our generation in the 80s and in the 90s. Freddy and Jason, dude, like those guys were like, Jesus, those were at the pinnacle. Like those guys were huge. Every kid from fucking 7 years old to 12, like they knew who Freddy and Jason were. There was no question about that. All kids knew who they were. And it was really random which films you may have seen and what might have scared you. So it's a beautiful send-off. But on top of that, think about how hard that is. You have Friday the 13th. If I say, hey guys, close your eyes and draw up a Friday the 13th plot in your head or a setting, what would it look like where you're at? You know? You'd be like, ooh, a lake? Summertime? Definitely some titties. Add some more titties, please. Some funny characters. Some old school kind of people having some beers and some drinks. Like, right? Friday the 13th. The music, the intenseness. If I said think of a Nightmare on Elm Street film, you could do the same thing. Heavy synthesizer, lots of Robert Englund, dream sequences. Like, there's just a feeling. So to take both of which and blend them into one is not an easy thing, to be able to balance the two while respecting one another, the storylines from both, because they both have their kind of interesting legends there. They made sense to us because we grew up with them, so like we can judge it a lot harder. Like, well, yeah, no shit. But like to a outsider who doesn't know these two characters, they could watch Freddy vs. Jason and understand vaguely what their franchises are about. And I think that's kind of cool.
Well, I agree. I mean, because this is back in 2003, and I was in like, I don't know, maybe middle school. It's just off the top of my head, and I wasn't a big horror nerd like you were at your age, that age. So, but Freddy vs. Jason, I remember when it was starting to come out, they had a website with a countdown timer, and everybody was talking about it, right?
Yeah, dude.
But this is ideally, surprisingly, the first Freddy Krueger and Jason movie I've seen, and they're both in it combined. And I remember watching it, and you're right, it did get the point across on both of them.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what's going on.
I understood both of them and exactly who they were without seeing any other movies.
And we got to get to Kane Hodder. This all leads to Kane Hodder. Okay? So they respect these two franchises beautifully. But they skipped out on Kane Hodder. The details are a little sketchy, but my man was hurt by it. He was Jason for quite a few films, and I'm not saying that he was Jason in all the movies, but he got known as Jason. He had the walk, the talk. He had just become him. And I don't know if there were financial issues or what was going on, but it's like if you could bring on Robert, what you need to, because it's Freddy. People, the horror fans wanted to see Robert versus Kane. That's the battle that everybody wanted.
Yeah, well then there has to be something.
Well,
with the financial or something. Something didn't work out with him, because there's no way you just casually don't consider him.
Yeah, dude.
Or taking it down for that.
His book was there was some ambiguity, because I read Kane's book, but it made it seem like it was just like nobody called him. Like they just didn't even call him, like is the way that he put it. He's like, nobody fucking called me. Obviously, we wanted to get this movie made for a long time, and he's like, just nobody called me. And then he said, when I called them, they had already had Jason cast. And, like, I don't know if that story's kind of true, but it's just fucked up. But yeah, that's kind of what I remember from his story, mainly saying from the book. And Ken Kersinger did an incredible job as Jason in this movie. And to be fair, he was one of Kane's stunt performers in Jason Takes Manhattan. So he had been on set. He had seen the master walk. He had seen how it all worked. So Ken did great. He did awesome. And there's some cool stuff, too, like Glenn Ennis, big stunt guy, legendary guy. He did the bear scene in The Revenant when he fucks up Leo. Did a lot of great scenes, but he was Jason when he was on fire through the cornfield. And that's just a legendary scene.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's just cool. That's almost up there with, like, the Blade opening scene at the rave. Like, any kind of, like, rave scene with, like, murder, I don't know why it's like beautiful to watch. Like, you know, it's like, you're like, all right, I'm in. You're like, oh, they're spraying blood from the ceiling? Yeah, of course. Like, but in general, I'd never do that. Like, I don't want to be in a place where that's happening. That's scary and terrifying.
Yeah, I don't want to be in the middle of a cornfield in general. I don't care what the fuck's going on in there.
Yeah, well, we're strapped up. You know, we're not. We're not going out.
Now,
like,
maybe if I was in a high school with a bunch of 20-year-olds, like in this movie, then maybe I might go out to the cornfield. But
like, we're going out to the cornfields with the owner of the cornfields, and we're all locked in. We're all, like, walking heavy because, like, you just don't go out in the middle of the wilderness. I mean, not even, like, just for people's sake, but I'm saying, like, animals. Fucking, you know, what if a buck comes around a corner and he's trying to fuck your world up? You gonna...
no, dude, nothing good happens in the middle of a cornfield. Don't go out there.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see from this movie.
It's educational.
It is. It lets you know.
So, I mean, there were some great characters or great actors and stuntmen who worked on the role of Jason, which is great. I really appreciated that, but kind of felt bad for Kane. But, Kane's had a great career. He's done some awesome movies. He made up for it later in the Adam Green movies and Hatchet. You know, he had his own character, Crowley, you know, Victor Crowley. Very cool. Hatchet movies are fun. We're going to have to jump into some of those, too. Those are the definitely FUBU horror flicks. But they're fun.
This one definitely is, too.
It really is.
It has everything. It's got titties. It's got Jason. It's got Freddy. It's got dream sequences. It's got all kinds of murders.
Lake scenes.
It's got lake scenes, boiler room scenes. You got fucking hot 25-year-olds playing high school kids.
Mm-hmm.
You got everything in this.
Yep. And let's talk about Freebird, the stoner character. He was hilarious.
Dude, that's my favorite part, and it's been my favorite part forever. And it's my favorite thing to say is when they're in the van after the cornfield scene.
I want to make a segment for this.
And he's making a bone. He's like, they're talking about. He's like, man, that goalie was fucking pissed about something.
Yes. We're gonna have to have like make a segment at one point in the show where it's like just legendary lines that like live out more. Hey Angela, what's wrong? Like there's just certain movie lines where you're just like, this is stuck in me. Dude, and it will never leave.
It's been stuck in me since 2003, and it's 2024 now.
Pissed about something.
Fucking goalie was pissed about something.
Yeah, there's quite a few scenes.
That's the ultimate thing to say about Jason. It is. And it took him that long to say it.
It's so funny, too, because he's like the stoner perspective, like, what's going on with that guy? Like, not like this is just a fucking maniac who kills. It's just like, something is eating that guy up. You know? I thought that shit was so funny. Yeah, I appreciated how they had a little bit of everybody. And then, obviously, John Ritter's kid's in this movie. What's his name? Jason Ritter? Jason Ritter played Will. Beautiful people. All these people are beautiful. But rest in peace to John Ritter, you know? He was fucking awesome, dude. And he stepped in the horror, too. As you guys remember in Bride of Chucky, he got his face messed up by all them nails in that van in Bride of Chucky.
Yep.
Three's Company, all these shows we grew up on. I don't know. It's just, it kind of felt cool to see his son working things. And he did great. I haven't seen him much. But really, I would say, like, one of my favorite characters in all of this is Mark. Mark he's played by this guy named Brendan Fletcher. I don't know what the hell this guy's doing either. But this dude, Mark nailed it. Mark crushed it in this movie because not only did he explain Freddy's background very well, you need those characters. You need those people that like lay down the story without seeming like that's what they're doing. You know, He comes in like, you know why they sing that? Because they want you to be afraid. So like he's laying down all of this backstory and rich character story, but he doesn't really get recognized. Definitely the supporting actor role.
Yeah, but the best part about it is they only give him like a couple minutes to explain it. That's it. That's all you need. Mm-hmm. You don't need a whole 20-minute scene. Nope, he just explains it and doing that. You know what cracked me up about that Mark character though is these two kids escaped from the insane asylum. They are getting chased. Cops are chasing them at school. They're chasing them around. They're looking for these kids, obviously. The police are looking for these children, and yet they're both in their houses. Like, nobody's looking there? Come on now.
A little bit of a plot hole.
Come on now. It's all right, though. That bothered me a little bit, but it's a horror movie. Who cares? Things aren't supposed to make sense.
Two of my favorite lines in this movie as well. Like, there's, like, lines that live from this. And when Jason is dreaming in the van and they're driving him and he starts drowning
Drowning.
Drowning, yes.
There's no D in it.
I'm not trying to put a D. It's just
You're-
out my mouth. Drowning. It's just how it sounds. Drowning.
Sounded like a toddler.
Drowning.
How do you make a D sound
Drowning.
without... Okay, drowning.
He
Got
was
it.
drowning.
There, say it with an accent. Sometimes you say it better with an accent.
My man was drowning.
I think that's why we say certain words with accents, because we can't pronounce them properly in our regular voices. But anyway, this guy's drowning.
All right, yeah. He's got adrenaline. And he can't breathe. Water's coming out of his mouth. So they're like, somebody's got to give him, fucking CPR. And they're like, what about Linderman? He's like, I can't, guys. I have asthma. And Kia's like, I can't do it. And Will's character is like, Kia, he has asthma. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Like,
It's because he came out of nowhere with
he has asthma. And then also one of the best asshole characters of all time in this movie, Trey. That's fucking Catherine Isabel's boyfriend. What's Gibb? That's her name. But her boyfriend, the first one to die, in a brutal way. By the way, it's fun to watch. He gets bent in half.
Yeah.
That's probably the peak kill of the movie. I don't know. I got to think about.
I don't know. We'll think about the kills later,
Yeah,
but that
but-
definitely sets the tone.
Through the mattress. I love the underneath shot. That was beautiful. And then just the. Like, it's so funny to
It's
see.
definitely one to remember for sure.
But he's such an asshole. Like, immediately that guy's dying. You're like, oh, that guy's dead for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
He had first to die written all over him as soon as he popped in the front door.
My favorite line probably from the whole movie is right after they fuck and she goes to like lay on him. He said, babe, you know I don't like to be touched after. I don't like to be touched after.
What did I tell you about kissing me after you smoked?
I don't like to be touched after. Like, that guy's got fucking problems.
No shit.
Like, real problems. Oh, I don't know. That's just that. Yeah, he has asthma, and that goalie was pissed about something. Those lines will always live in my head.
I know.
Very funny. I don't know.
I don't know, dude. Freddy with the dark meat line, too.
Oh, that one too, bro.
Oh, that was risque. Well, for him, not back in 2003 because people weren't so sensitive, but that was risque these days.
But it's like, he is a child murderer.
I know. Like, and you're going to get mad about that?
Dark meat. Like, now, if he said another choice of words, yes, I would not like that. If like, that's not cool. We're not throwing slurs out, but that, like, all right. If Candyman saw me and Mark and he said, white bread, that's funny.
Wonder bread.
All right, that's funny.
I know,
get
it's
it.
just not,
Yeah, I
it's
get
not
it.
there's
That's
nothing
funny.
about it. It's just an observation.
Yeah, it's funny.
It is dark meat.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's funny. He called us bread because we're white.
Yeah.
All right, I get it. And that just makes it funny. That just makes it funny.
Wafers.
Yeah, that just makes it funny.
Yep.
If there were Asian characters that walked in and they're like, look here, soy sauce, that's just funny, like he gets it. It's, all right.
If I ever get into an argument with a man of Asian descent, I'm going to call him soy sauce if he pisses me off.
Yeah, if he's rude,
Yeah.
that's
For
definitely
no
his
reason.
name.
I'm not just going to go all willy-nilly, but if he's like for real dissing me off,
Hey.
call him soy sauce.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Just an observation. It's just a food type.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a food type you can identify with all.
Yeah.
I like that.
What's the white stereotype food? Do you know?
I think for us,
Yeah.
I think they just call us white bread,
No, I mean, like, what's our stereotypical food that we eat?
I think they're gonna try to say like potato salad or with raisins. And
See,
shit.
that
I don't like
sucks,
potato
dude.
salad.
We don't have the good food stereotype.
But we make good food, so it is weird,
Yeah.
But we it depends because white people are strange. Like, I mean, because some people don't give a fuck about their descent. Like, some like white people that you see, like, yeah, their grandparents are from Italy. So like their diet is a little different than like what mine may be, like where my generation grandparents have been here for, great great grandparents have been here. So like I eat burgers and Cokes, drink Cokes. Like there's a different, I actually don't drink a lot of Cokes, but you know what I'm saying? Like more of an American traditional diet. But if you have somebody where it's like, yeah, my parents are here from Turkey, like, you're like, oh, I imagine like your dinners are probably different. So it's like, it's kind of hard to put us in a box because you could see, you know, in quotations, white people, but you wouldn't really know. Like, they could.
Right. I mean, well, that applies to everybody, no matter if it's just white people or not. But I'm saying, like, okay, like black people, what is it? Fried chicken. What is it? Mexican people, tacos. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Asian people, what is it? Rice.
Yeah, what would
noodles.
Unseasoned chicken?
I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what it is, but I guarantee you it fucking sucks. Like, if there was a restaurant that served you on your stereotype food, I would not go there. Because I don't know what it is.
That's true.
I really don't know what it is.
I like white people taco night. That's fun.
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, that's always
good.
good.
People talking about too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's a good idea, actually.
Oh yeah, people like tacos.
Everybody loves tacos. That's my favorite food.
It's hard not to, dude.
Dude, all kinds of
Yeah,
tacos.
you can't just stick to one country's cuisine. Bro.
No.
You gotta switch it up.
No, man, you gotta have all kinds of shit. That's the beauty of America. The world is right here. We have all the options.
You know what, Mark?
All the options.
That's a beautiful segue because we need to figure out what was going on in the world in August of 2003.
Actually, we can't do that right now.
Why?
Okay, we gotta wait till later.
Okay.
We got a short period of time before we got to bring the guys in. Not exactly right now, but we're close to it. And these guys get really mad if we don't give them their time slot.
Okay, so we'll just
they yelled at us
segments.
last time we tried to do it one time. I'm not having that again.
Okay, no, that's fine because we got a new bumper for the Fill Them Shoes segments. You know, I'll show if you guys listen to that little Patreon episode. I showed you guys some of that AI music we've been fucking around with. It's pretty cool, but we got a new little thing for Fill Them Shoes. You guys can hear that. But here's the deal, dog. Here is the deal. I mean, I guess, truthfully, I'm going to give you my best, like, minute synopsis so I don't have to do that later.
Oh, yeah, we haven't even done that. We're fucking up this season. We're all over the map.
Well, it's one of those films. It's one of those films.
All right.
I could go 2 hours.
Okay.
So, with Freddy versus Jason, we have the setup quite simply where Elm Street is peaceful, Freddy is not feared, so Freddy is not in these kids' dreams. But he feels like work isn't done all the way. Obviously, Jason got sent to hell in his movies. He's down in hell. So Freddy sees Jason in hell, and he looks like he's underutilized. So he's like, look, I'm going to send Jason up to Elm Street, have him start killing kids, and they're going to think it's me, and people are going to be afraid of me again, and then I can come back. And Jason does start to do that, and the kids do start to fear Freddy, but Jason doesn't stop killing. So Freddy gets mad, and that leads to a big throwdown, and the kids are also caught up in the mix, and both villains go out in a blaze of glory, pretty much, if we're being fair. Fingers ripped off, arms ripped off, eyes stabbed out. Like, it's a lot of blood. Beautiful. Honestly, their fight scene at the end on the pier, I don't mean to sound corny, but it's seriously beautiful. Like, I mean, it is so awesome. Like, all the blood, like, it just looks cool as hell. And these are two titans who had been thrown down on the screen, not together, but running shit. They had never looked really vulnerable, maybe for brief moments in their franchises, but it's Freddy, dude. It's Jason, and they let each other get fucked up in this. And I don't know. It was just cool to see, because nobody else would be able to touch them. But these two facing off, you're like, oh, man, they are fucking each other up, dude. Like, but on their own, they can individually mess up kids. So that's your synopsis. It's fun. Beautiful fighting.
Yeah, some crazy fighting. Exactly how you think it would go down.
Yeah, everybody was.
Everybody is defying the laws of physics in this movie. Like, so many people just get launched in this movie, dude.
Yeah,
launched, like torpedo launched. It's insane.
Speaking of torpedoes, I like when Freddy was knocking off like the air tanks, shooting them at Jason. That was just creative. Like, it was just fun to see.
And then him just slowly dodging them like a badass.
And he took a couple though. Just
yeah. God, dude, the amount of pain.
Dude, honestly, my favorite scene, like my favorite LOL moment, if you will, in Freddy versus Jason, is at the end on the pier, and Jason is standing above Freddy, and he's about to hack him with the machete, but Freddy sticks up his glove and slices his fingers off, and Jason does this. He goes, huh? Like there's like that, like he just looks at his hand and it's just like leaking. He's like,
nubs.
He's like, that's not good. Like that face is priceless. Like I want that on a poster. Jason looking at his like fingerless hand. Very funny scene.
Absolutely.
It's hard to unsee once it's funny.
Oh yeah. You're never gonna. Once something you see is funny, it's not. You can't change it. You cannot change it. Well, I love this conversation so far, but let's figure out more things about this movie with the guys. Wow. Welcome to the What Do You Know here. It's a segment here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie. Now, you may know what we know, you may not know what we know, but if you know what we know, you're going to have a we know gasm. If you don't know what we know, you're about to find out what we know, and you're going to have a we know gasm too. Dude, you did that perfectly.
It lives in my head now. I just lives in there. It's in my sleep. You know, I like it.
It should live in your head because this is the What Do You Know here. So I'm going to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie. Freddy vs. Jason here. So this, I'm telling you this right now. This may blow your mind because you may definitely did not know this.
This is crazy.
This is the first Freddy Krueger movie in the history of Freddy Krueger movies that was not filmed in the United States.
The traitors to the state.
They did. It was filmed in the home of the Canadians.
Oh, Canada, that's okay. That's fun. That's fun.
Well,
up
this
there.
is why Canada's killing us, because they get all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently, you know, if you go take a movie to Canada and you film in Canada and you use Canadian actors mostly, you know, you get heavy discounts. So, you know, sometimes you gotta.
I heard about that. They started doing that. I think like in the late '90s. And
Yeah.
They started making good deals for people.
Yeah, it's a smart decision. I mean, Canada looks just like America, so why the fuck not? I would do that.
They did like the American Psycho up there. There's quite a few.
That's kind of
movies up
ironic,
there.
an American Psycho in Canada.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, what are
I
you
know.
gonna do?
I know the Jason Takes Manhattan, where he went there. He went. There was only that Times Square scene, you know, where he kicked the radio, and that was
Yeah.
funny. But aside from that, the rest of Manhattan was Toronto. You know, I think it was Toronto. You know, because Toronto's.
Would have to be.
Yeah, it's.
Let's
very
just say
similar.
Toronto, because that's the only city I know in Canada.
Well,
So-
it's very similar looking to like a New York City. It's there like New York City, but like you know what's weird? Like from where we see, you know, we're here in Cincinnati. It's 7 hours away. Toronto. Like that's not that far.
No.
Like you know what I mean? Like in your brain, you're like, oh fuck, like that's a mission. You're like, no, like looking on a map, like it's one of those one Canada spots where it's like right across the water there.
Yeah, right across the pond.
Yeah, so it's quite simple.
Yeah.
I don't know. We might have to hit that one up. I
We
want to
may.
do that little needle in there. Go up in
Yeah.
that little needle up there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Seems
Take pictures,
fun.
send them back home.
Put it on the MySpace,
Mom, look at me. I'm on the needle.
so everybody can look at your life, because nobody cares. Anyway,
Ma, it's me
tell me,
at the needle.
what do you know about this movie?
I know a couple things. Actually, here's the deal. I know the number of gallons of blood used for this movie. Okay? Do you want to take a stab on how many gallons of blood were used for this movie?
500.
Not too far off, a little high, but it was 3. It was 300.
300 gallons.
300 gallons.
That's a very specific number.
That's a lot of blood.
It's a very specific number.
Have you ever spilled a gallon of milk on the floor? That's a lot of liquid. It's a lot of liquid.
It is a lot of liquid. That will ruin your day if you spill milk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't want that. You don't want that at all.
Yeah, you can't let it go too long or else it'll crust up.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh, yeah. Pouring out cottage cheese.
I bet you the blood guy was very happy when that order came through his fax machine.
Oh,
He's like,
fuck
300
yeah.
gallons.
Maybe it was only...
Bobby, you got to go overtime here. We got 300 gallons.
What if it was only like 5 gallons at a time and they just worked this poor guy to death? He is like, you know, how much blood do these people need? He just gave them fucking 150
You know how long it
gallons.
takes to make a gallon? A lot. I don't know. I have no idea.
Sweetheart, I'm not going to be home tonight. These motherfuckers need more blood. I know.
That would be a pretty sweet job, though, just to make fake blood all day.
Yeah.
Be in a lab with a lab coat, putting in mixtures and beakers and butts and burners.
I'm jealous.
That would be good. Well, that's great. Do you know any more facts about this movie?
I think that's it. That'd be good.
That's pretty good, too. I think our shift is over now, and we're going to go. Goodbye.
I wonder if Alan Jackson's ever seen this movie.
Who is Alan Jackson?
The country singer.
That's why I don't know him. Is he a new guy? Is he an older guy?
Older guy.
What songs does he do?
Remember when? He did all kinds of...
Oh, I remember. Okay.
When Daddy'd let me drive.
Yeah, I know that song. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Small town southern man.
You really need to try to make a country song. We've been wanting to do that for years. We should really just make a country song.
Oh, it'd be hilarious.
It's so easy.
It would really would.
And down on the countryside, sunrise moving on the home line.
Yeah, you just gotta, and you can, you just make a little poppy. And
yeah.
It works so well.
Oh yeah.
But I wonder if he's ever seen this movie. I'm gonna have to write. I'll text him.
I'm pretty sure he has. Who hasn't seen this movie?
This is a good point. Now, the fun part about Freddy vs. Jason is the cast. It's incredible, but I guess there's a little drama on set too, because Catherine Isabel, she didn't want to get naked in the movie, and
which is bullshit.
Yep.
Which is bullshit because everybody wanted to see that.
I know. But
I wanted to see that.
So they had to use like a body double for her, like in the shower. So that wasn't her.
Well, I mean, hey, the body double's good too.
Yep, we got faked out. But I guess Ronnie Yu like put the pressure on, even though it was in her clause that she didn't want to do it. So it's a little fucked up by Ronnie, but whatever. And then also, I mean, Ronnie did Bride of Chucky as well, which is weird, because I actually did enjoy those films. I liked them, but he did a couple other that weren't so great. But it was just kind of an interesting little segment of drama that I had heard. Now, Mark, I did allude earlier to some new music. I think the people should be able to hear some of it. I mean, I don't you're the producer, so you can incorporate them however you want. Like that doo-wop one, I want to put for some old radio drama things. I've got some good plans for that one. We can do some cool things, you and I. Because also we're good with voices. But number two, there's all kinds of fun ones. Be it fucking horrorcore. I've even made a couple country ones. There's all kinds of funny ones, but Ozark's gonna lay it down. But we're messing around with a new bumper for Fill Them Shoes. I think you guys might enjoy it. It might get you amped up. Don't get a speeding ticket. All right. What do you think, Mark? Should we show it to him?
Fill them shoes with the path of the wicked. Unleash the fury, let the chaos reign.
Oh, right in your fucking face. Look at that shit. Oh my goodness.
Ultimate Warrior.
That's right.
Fill them shoes, babies.
Makes you want to fucking punch a fat kid right now.
Right now.
Yep.
Right, yep. I agree.
Oh, that's good. I'm all hyped up now. Fill my shoes, please.
All right. If you're unfamiliar with what the Fill Them Shoes segment is, it's a quick little segment where we try to take you to, the date of when this movie came out so you can have an idea of what was relevant at the time, all right? Because you can watch something old now and miss the whole thing completely. So let's go back to August 15th of 2003. The top movies at the time were Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Those were cool movies. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny
the
those.
Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah, they
good.
were cool. They were cool.
Still cool.
Terminator 3. T3.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't too bad either.
Yep. Legally Blonde 2. I don't know if I've seen that one.
No.
Finding Nemo. Ooh, 28 Days Later. I like that one. That one was good with Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
He's a great actor.
Oh, yeah. I love Cillian Murphy.
Italian Job. I do remember that.
That's a good one. Always on TV.
And in my opinion, the last good sequel to Fast and Furious, which is Too Fast, Too Furious. I feel like 1 and 2 are decent movies. After that, it just got crazy.
Yeah, they should have stopped at 2.
Like, that one was okay.
Just
I like that one.
Stop at 2.
Yeah.
I mean, just stop at 2. I think they're up to like 20 now or something. It's ridiculous.
Yep. Later that year, like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King came out, so that was kind of cool. let's see what we had some news that year. I mean, the Columbia. I mean, that was another explosion. That was the other shuttle explosion. You remember when they're coming into reentry? That blew up that year on February 1st. Andre Agassi, he became the oldest ranked male. Tennis-wise, he was the oldest top-ranked male in history at 33 years old, which is not that old.
That's how old I am.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Old man, take a look at my life.
Jesus.
Barry Bonds became the first player to have 500 homers and 500 steals.
And thank God for steroids.
Yes. If we're talking music, well, let's get before music. Let's just say the MLB champs of 2003 were the Miami Marlins. The NFL champs were the New England Patriots. The NBA champs, San Antonio Spurs, and the New Jersey Devils had won the Stanley Cup. Music at the time, number one song when this movie came out was "Crazy in Love" by Beyonce and Jay-Z. Top songs, "Right There" by Chingy. I like the way you do it right there. It's a bad time for music, man. Like, it was good and bad.
Right there, right there.
Fucking
The only reason you had that on a CD is because you had a girl with you. That's it.
PIMP by 50 Cent.
That's not even a good 50 song.
I
It's
know.
like one of his worst ones.
Ashanti, "Rock With You."
No.
That was number 4 at the time. Number 5, Matchbox 20. I'm not great, I'm just a little unwell, I know.
All right, now we're.
Yeah.
That's the best one so far.
I know. I stopped there because it wasn't better. Like,
No.
it got like Magic Stick was next, I think.
Oh no.
Yeah.
God, that was a horrible time for music.
It wasn't great.
No.
Now, there was some good, like, new metal and shit out, but it just was not in the top 10.
That's not gonna make the top 10. Not with that crap. Fucking
Yeah,
circling
that's not
school
gonna cut it
dances
right
and shit.
there.
Fucking high school baseball games or basketball games and shit. Jesus Christ.
I like the way you do it right
I
there.
just want to go back to 2003 and punch every radio DJ that's playing this crap.
I know.
Oh God. Well, I'm glad we're out of that shit.
I am too, man. But, that's what was happening when Frederick versus, Jason was coming out. So,
Well, good, man. My shoes are filled. I'm ready to go.
yeah, I am too.
I'm good to go.
So we got a synopsis already, and we were blabbering a little, so we flipped those out of order, but that's okay. Now we feel in there.
We gotta mix it up. Never let them know your next move.
That's a good point, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
So now, Mark, what's your favorite part of this movie?
Man. It's really hard to not pick the cornfield scene. It's really not. I mean, just the first part of when the two dudes stop doing that shit while I'm trying to talk. Stop. Stop it.
I'll remember.
Stop it. But I mean, just the first part, just like right as soon as she's like, this Everclear's kicking my ass, man.
Like the Jay and Silent Bob style character.
Yeah. And then,
Holy fuck, look at this guy.
I know, dude. But then you just light Jason on fire and fucking he just starts tearing shit up. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's the perfect thing to do in a cornfield. It's the perfect opening reveal for that shit. I mean, you couldn't do it any better.
And there's like instant raper justice. That raper gets fucked up. That dude went to make, he saw that girl passed out in the cornfield.
Yeah.
And he tries to make his move. And Jason said, "Nah, we don't sexually assault women. We kill them."
I know he doesn't even do it good. Like
No,
he
he's
even do
weird
it.
with
I know
it,
he's
yeah.
like licking her like a dog. Like and they did the scenes and noises in it too. It was like, that
He like
definitely
walked up
made
to
it
her like a
uncomfortable.
dog would walk up the trash on the street, like a homeless dog walks up the trash, just kind of like,
Oh no, he was so weird about it.
so strange.
But yeah, he's another one that defied the laws of physics. He just got fucking launched. But
He did, dude.
He
That
just got
was funny. He
launched.
deserved it.
yeah, but just an awesome scene.
Yep, lots
Sets
of
the
fun.
tone. It's a great part.
If I had to say,
But another one,
do
another
it
one
again,
real
yeah.
quick.
tell me.
Is I just love the scene where they take Jason to Crystal Lake and they're trying to pull Freddy out of the dream.
That is cool.
And they finally pull him out of the dream, and they're in that cabin on fire, and Freddy just like realizes where he is and looks back, and just the fear in his face when
Freddy
he sees
gets
Jason
fucked up.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and the heavy metal starts playing, and it just gets you ready for the fight. It's awesome. It's a perfect way to bring that in.
It really is. Honestly, truthfully, what like an underrated character. And he's been in all kinds of stuff too, but I'm trying to think of what like you might know him best from. But it's Mark's older brother, the redhead dude who was mentioned that had died. He was in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's been in a lot of shit. Like a lot of things. First off, he was like the little bully kid from A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
So that's him. Remember that movie Wild America with Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was in Almost Famous. Quite a few movies that he had done. Trying to see, he even did the Friday the 13th TV series. He was on one of the episodes, which is kind of cool if you ask me. Did some NYPD Blue, some Walker Texas Ranger. What the hell am I thinking of him from? Titus. That's what I remember. Titus. You remember that show?
Yeah.
Titus?
Mm-hmm.
He was on that. He was a regular on that show. But when Mark finally falls asleep, because Mark knows what's up. He knows what Freddy's about. So when he finally falls asleep, Freddy catches his back on fire. And what's even more gnarly is that Will and Lori show up and are watching Mark through his window trying to wake him up, and they can't wake him up. And then all of a sudden his back just ignites on fucking fire. And you're like, oh!
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy shit. But when Freddy throws him into the wall, and it does this pan back of Freddy, where he's, got his hand up and he's laughing at him. It is the most gnarliest Freddy. I mean, outside of some of the originals, it's the gnarliest I've ever seen Freddy. I mean, it's just one of my favorite scenes of Robert. He catches dude on fire and he's laughing at him, just like, and it was just, and then it pans back and it says, tell him Freddy's back. And that's fucking cool as hell.
I mean, after watching this movie again and seeing so many prior because of the show, they definitely captured both of their essences very well in this.
I believe so too.
And you don't think and you wouldn't think it's supposed to be that way, but they just did an all-around good job with capturing who exactly they are, and they went gnarly with it, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And it is awesome. Speaking of which, I am curious to know where this movie ranks on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating system.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Oh, yeah. Spread them cheeks, you sexy sons of bitches, because we are back here on the world-famous, one-of-a-kind, world-renowned, infamous, blasphemous, stupendous Sloppy Horror Podcast rating developed by your very scary movie companion, Christian Ramey over there. He developed a horror movie system for a horror movie ranking, not a movie in general. Keep that shit in mind, you fucking idiot. Now, we're going to do this in a series of 4 categories. 3 of the categories are worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
You're goddamn right. You goddamn right. So, let's put this son of a bitch where it belongs, and let's get into the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
Very strong, sir. Very strong. And the reason why I'm giving you strong, lots of big actors that you recognize elsewhere. I mean, motherfucking Destiny's Child's in here, which, okay, that's kind of a cool thing. I enjoy that. But like I said, you got Jason Ritter. All these people crushed it. I'm giving this a 3 out of 3. This is you don't get better casting generally in horror movies. It's just like this is the cream of the crop. This is the best you're going to get when it comes to horror movies. Because if there's any corniness in this, you can blame that on truthfully writing, because everybody knows what they're doing. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 3.
All right. That's 3 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the second category here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
Now this one, Mark, there's 25 deaths in this movie. I mean, there's 25 deaths. We got first one, people getting killed with a machete. We got the little girl killed off screen, right immediately with Freddy explaining a story. We get the Trey getting killed in the bed. Blake's dad gets his fucking head cut off. Blake gets slashed trying to hold his father's head as a shield. Gib, she gets it with the metal pole. The glow stick guy gets it. The jock gets his head twisted around. Flaming machete thrown through Silent Bob's back. All the ravers. The bathtub dude, obviously. Mark gets his face slashed, caught on fire. Security guard gets squashed by the door. Lachlan Monroe's character, the sheriff, he gets electrocuted. Freebird gets chopped in half. That was an awesome scene. Mm-hmm. That was kind of cool. Lori's mom, and then Linderman, he gets stabbed and just kind of dies by the tree. Kia gets slashed with the machete into a tree. She gets launched. Freddy dies. There's just, and there's a few others as well. It's just intense. It's a lot of deaths. Very creative. These are two slasher gods meeting together on screen. And then the way that the carnage they use on each other at the end, it's a 3. Mm-hmm. Like there's no other way. It's a 3. Like, yep. So perfect thus far.
Yep. So that's 6 out of 10 here so far on the Sloppy Horror Podcast ratings. Getting to the third, final 3-point category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is fear.
I can't go back on what I said earlier, that when you see two characters generally meeting each other, that means they're popular. They're well known. Mm-hmm. It's the end of the journey, really. You can't have Freddy versus somebody you ain't never fucking heard of. You can't have Jason versus somebody you ain't never heard of. That's not going to do as well. These are two icons at the end of their run, walking off into the sunset together, if you ask me, which I think is kind of cool. But really, maybe scared some kids or whatever, but it's got to be a half a point. It's not that scary, I don't believe, to anybody, because you're coming for that. Mm-hmm. You're signing up for these characters. And also, as we alluded to, when you see the characters like Trey, you're like, oh, yeah, please get rid of that guy. Yeah, I want to see how they're getting rid of him. And then you see the rave happening. You're like, oh, that's a lot of kids. Yeah. Oh, that's a lot of kids. Yeah. What's about to happen? You know, and it pays off. So you're kind of rooting for it. If you're maybe a small child, I'll give a half a point for. But really, these characters are so beloved that it's just hard to.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I was thinking 1 just because of half the people in the world, 0.5 for people that are scared of Jason, 0.5 of people that are scared for Freddy, but they're not even scary in this movie.
No.
Technically. I mean,
they're creepy, but, like, you're rooting.
Yeah,
like, you like
it's
them.
about them fighting. Like, it's not about them coming to get people. They're just fucking at each other, so.
And it happened with all of them. Don't you remember as a kid when Chucky, like, when the first 3 and 4 were out, like, it was like Bride of Chucky came out in, like, 98. But, like, Chucky at that point was like, yo, don't start talking about that and putting on the Chucky movies because he won't sleep for a week, After, like, Seed of Chucky started to come out, and, and after Bride, Chucky turned a corner. Then he was in wrestling and stuff, and we're like, oh, Chucky's our guy. Mm-hmm. Fuck these other people. I'm coming for him. Yeah. So it happens to these guys, too. But I honestly, if you want to do one, we can.
Nah, 0.5 sounds good to me, because it's really what it is. So 6.5 out of 10 so far on Sloppy Horror Podcast ratings, because the last final 1-point category for half a point each here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is rewatchability.
I think I saw this 4 times in theaters. 4 times in theaters, dude. Like,
I'd say it's pretty rewatchable, I would say. I mean, that's a given. Sometimes we don't even need to do this category. But we got to make it an even 10 possibilities to score here, because we are an efficient machine, and that's how we do things. So that is a total of 7.5 for Freddy vs. Jason. Right here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast, right back up in your ass.
Pretty good damn score for a film that's not that scary.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're getting what you sign up for. The title tells you what you're getting, and even like I said with Kong vs. Godzilla, I want to see a big monkey fighting a dinosaur. And if you do anything else besides that, I'm going to be pissed. So give me a giant monkey fighting a dinosaur. You give me Jason versus Freddy. If it was just like Freddy versus Jason, but they only had like a 1 or like a 3-minute fight scene in the end, you'd be like, that's bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Y'all tricked us. That's not fair. It wasn't that way at all, man. They were kind of throwing down and messing with each other the whole time, and when they weren't messing with each other, they were just disposing of whoever was in their way. In funny ways, man. Like I said, when dude used that dude's head, or when he used his dad's head as a shield against Jason, he was like, ah!
I will say this: another good thing about what makes this movie iconic is because it's not watered down. There's nothing in its category really. I mean, not many. You mentioned a couple, but we don't have
movies.
We don't have Freddy versus somebody else. We don't have Jason versus somebody else. We don't have another version of this. Like, we don't have Michael versus Leatherface or some shit. We don't have any really other things like this.
Yeah,
and that's
it worked so well for those two for some reason.
I don't think it would work well with other two people. I mean, you might be able to sling something, but nothing. But the story, what they did, made sense, and they led to it at the end of Jason Goes to Hell. So, I mean, it all worked in perfectly.
It did.
It did.
It truthfully really did, and it came out at the time, because now it would just get filleted if you were like, we're coming out with this. It'd be a hard road for them to walk up because people would talk a lot of shit. But back then, people didn't really have the access for that. There were like internet forums, but the internet was still pretty much in its infancy, and we didn't know anything until it came out. We saw it when we saw it. And this was a big part of my youth, big part of my teenage years. I was a freshman in high school when this came out, and I saw this so many times in a row. I was obsessed, just as weird as I am now. Definitely happy to check this one off the box, off the list for us. I want to know, truthfully, the people that are listening, I want you guys in the comments of this video, if you're still here, whatever, wherever you're listening, how did you guys feel about Freddy vs. Jason? Okay? There's no right or wrong answers. I loved it. But if you didn't, that's okay. Maybe I could put this together in a little video so people could see. But I want to know what the fans' thoughts are on Freddy vs. Jason. But for me, it's just a fun flick. Just really is. It's a part of me.
Take away the biggest part of me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boom, boom, boom.
You don't even know what next week's episode's about, dog.
No, I do not.
I can give you kind of the initials of his name.
What is it?
BJ. Like a bug? Like a drink? Orange juice? Orange juice? Not orange. Bug. Fly. A beetle?
Oh, ha, 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 ha. Oh, ha, ha, ha. I've been waiting to do that, motherfucker.
I know it.
Forever.
I know, man.
God. Man, this is going to be a fun season. God damn. We're starting off with this, and then you're coming in next week with that. Holy shit. Mm-hmm. Holy shit.
I figure it's
swear
appropriate.
to God, anybody that's listening right now, if you're a female, your curtains better be fucking slick. And if you're a fella, you better have a fucking lightheaded, because that is going to be a fun one next week.
Yeah.
That is going to be a fun one next week.
And there's a sequel coming out, so I don't know how to feel. I mean, it's got all the original people.
I'm
but
just excited for another excuse to watch it again.
Me too. But it's time to cross it off the list.
Is it for free somewhere, or do I have to rent this one again?
I don't know.
You son of a bitch.
Let's look.
I had to rent this one.
I know.
It's only $4. I don't care. That ain't shit. But still.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna hook you up with some movies.
Movies. Hook me up with some movies, sir, so I can watch them on my television program machine.
You might have to rent this one, but I might.
That's
I
all right.
might have it.
It don't matter. I don't care. I can rent them. It's fine.
Yeah, this one's fun.
I'm a man of the people. I don't mind giving a little donation for a little bit of entertainment, all right?
So
it's time to bring back that. I pay attention to them when I rent them more. So
That's true.
You know what I mean? So I pay attention to more. And I hope you do too. So, you sons of bitches, we're back. I hope you enjoyed this power hour of hardcore podcasting entertainment right back up in your ass. Now you can't sit down for a little bit, and you're right back up in your little routine. So
you just got FVJ'd.
Yes, you did. I don't know what that means, but
Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, and if you're feeling really froggy, go rent Freddy's and Jason. And then we will have a lot to talk about on the internet together. So, with that, goodbye.
See you laters.